Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, my dear students of Ajman University, College of Pharmacy, second year students, for the course Pharmaceutical Dosage Forms 1. Today we are going to continue what we left last time with part 1. We reached the tablet coating. Now, if we just like to revise what we talked about last time, we talked about the formulation of tablets, the types of tablets, and the equipment used in making tablets, the methods for tableting, and we also talked about the defects in tablets such as lamination or capping. And as you see today in this title, we're going to talk about tablet coating. Now, two main types of coating we will discuss in this part. The first one is sugar coating, and the second one is film coating. Now, I wanted to go back to the section when we discussed about the types of coating, or the types of tablets. And if you remember, we talked about the sugar-coated tablets and the film-coated tablets. So I want you now to go back to that section and read them carefully and then come back to continue this video. Now with sugar coating, if you remember, we said that among the reasons for sugar coating is to hide the taste and odor of the drug and other excipients that may be unpleasant. And another reason for sugar coating is to protect the ingredients inside from degradation because of moisture, oxygen, and light in the surrounding. But we have to be careful here because sugar coat itself can be affected by the moisture around. Don't forget that the sugar coat is water soluble. Another thing, as you will see also later, you remember that we said that sugar coating is thick and the tablet can have an extra 50% weight because of this coating. So we can utilize this coating in order to separate incompatible ingredients so that one ingredient will be in the shell or in the outer of the tablet, in the coating yani, and the other ingredient which is incompatible because of maybe different reasons such as chemical interaction or something else, we can put it in the core or in the inside tablet. So one ingredient will be in the outer coating, the other ingredient will be in the tablet which is being coated. An example of incompatible ingredients are the iron salts and other divalent metals, okay, which we can put them in the coat while we put, for example, the vitamins in the core of the tablet, yani in the tablet itself, rather than mixing them with the salts. Another very important characteristic actually of the sugar coating is that the appearance. You will see later that the last step of producing sugar coated tablets is waxing or polishing, and this polishing will give it a shiny and elegant appearance. طبعا, of course, you remember the disadvantages, which include ايش disadvantages. حكينا انه size will increase, and you will see also other disadvantages such as the time required to prepare sugar coated tablets, the expertise, and all of these can be considered as disadvantages. And later we will talk also about additional disadvantage. طيب, let's talk about the process of sugar coating the tablets. Well, there are several steps. as you see here, if you see A talks about waterproofing. But actually, prior to this, we must do dedusting. Yani, actually, the first step is dedusting. And if you look back into the production of tablets, the last step in producing the tablets, اللي هي ايش last step؟ اللي هي dedusting. So that is the step after producing the tablets, we do dedusting. Dedusting will prevent the coating from becoming ايش؟ rough. Okay, that's why we need to dedust the tablets. After that, we do waterproofing. طبعا we'll talk about this in more details later. And after waterproofing, we need to do subcoating. After subcoating, we do smoothing and final rounding. Then we do finishing and coloring, and the maybe let's say before or the last step is polishing, but before this and after we do coloring, finishing and coloring, we do something called imprinting. يعني إذا في هون كمان we have here imprinting step, and then we have إيش polishing. Now, okay, now I want you to imagine the situation. We are having the coating pans. Coating pans are like cup-like shape or acorn shape. You know acorn, it's like a certain fruit from a tree. And this is how it looks like, okay? Although this is an old one, old style coating pan, but it can be used. You will see that it has opening here, okay? You will see that there are tablets inside. This is a rotating pan, and there is an inlet for hot air and exhaust. Okay, طبعا modern coating pan will look like this, although even more recent equipment will be having the process in a closed way. Okay, now I want to show you a video showing the process of coating. Look at this video. These are coated, sugar-coated tablets. Okay, from these you have the pouring or applying the solutions or liquids. طبعا this is the coating pan. Okay, look here carefully into this figure. Okay, you will see that this is the, I will go back so you get the, okay. Now this is the tablet, okay, inside this circle or this contour, okay, what you see inside, this is the tablet. This is what we call the waterproofing or sealing, as you see here the name. It's called waterproofing or sealing coat, the dark one. Okay, then you have the subcoat. You will notice that the subcoat is the thickest part of the coating, and then you will see the smoothing coat. Okay, اللي هي the step of smoothing and rounding. Okay, then you will see the coloring, finishing and the coloring coat. Okay, then after that you may imprint the tablet, put a logo or put, let's say, an imprint on the tablet, because this is nowadays required. And the final step will be polishing. Okay, you see here the air getting inside the coating pan, Okay, what you see here is the motor that will pump the coating solutions into the pan. Okay, through here you will have the liquid to do the coating. So this liquid goes into these openings to do the coatings. You see these liquids? These can be sugar in a water, which is applied to the rotating and tumbling tablets. Okay, I will stop here just to show you the modern coating technique. So let's go back to the coating process. As I said, the pan will be rotating and the tablets will be tumbling inside, and while they are tumbling they are making contact with the coating solution. طبعا after applying each coat usually it is left to dry before we apply another coat. يعني there is not only one coating applied, but there are several coats to be applied, and the reason is to gradually build up the coatings until we get the right thickness. Okay, now we will talk about the process in more details. If you remember, I said in the beginning there will be de-dusting, and after that اللي هو waterproofing, or the other term we call it sealing coats. طيب, first we need to know why do we need to do that? Why do we need to do waterproofing or sealing coat? What do we mean by that? What does it mean, waterproofing? Waterproofing means we don't want water to get into the tablet, because later on we're going to use aqueous solutions, syrups. So the syrup, if applied directly to the tablet, it can dissolve the ingredients in the tablet, and this will disfigure all tablets and will create a mess. So in order to prevent that, we need first to do waterproofing or sealing. So how do we do that? We apply an alcoholic solution of a shellac, ومعروف الشيلاك, which comes from a bug. This shellac is resistant to water penetration. Okay, otherwise we might apply enteric polymer. If you remember enteric polymer, زي مثل like for example polyvinyl acetate phthalate, وcellulose acetate phthalate, وhydroxypropyl methyl cellulose acetate phthalate, sorry. So we have different enteric polymer. In case we need to use them, whether shellac or the enteric polymer, they must be this is very important, in very small quantities, just sufficient to prevent water from getting inside the tablet, just enough. يعني it will be very thin. So this solution is sprayed on the tablets that are being rotated inside the coating pans, and then air is blown in order to dry these tablets and preventing them from sticking together. إذن after de-dusting we have to apply a thin coat. Okay, this thin coat شو كان وظيفته? What is the function of this thin coat? Is to prevent the subsequent solutions. Later I will add more aqueous solutions, and these will destroy the tablet. So this thin coat will prevent this from happening. Okay. Now subcoating, this comes after waterproofing, and it is maybe the main coating that is applied, which produce the large thickness of the coat. Its job, let's see what's the job of this subcoating. See, first it provides rounding to the tablet. Okay, it provides rounding to the tablet. That's why when we look at sugar coated tablets, you will see that it's not spherical, okay, but it is rounded, especially from the edges. And another thing which I forgot to tell you, even the tablets that we use, to do the sugar coating, they must have convex and thin edge. Yani the sugar coated tablets, before coating them, these tablets must be produced so that they have thin edge and convex. يعني كل ما كان, the more it's spherical, the better. And the reason is the tablets will be rounded and tumbling all the time. Okay, all the time it will be tumbling. If it has a sharp edge, like a contour, like a flat surfaces and sharp edges, then this can break the tablet and make the coating more difficult. That's why we need such tablets to be used. طيب في subcoating إذن the main thing is to make the rounding. Number two, it provides the bonding between the sugar coating, which will happen at the end, okay, the final coatings of sugar coating, and the tablet. يعني it will provide the bonding in order to bond the final coats with the tablet itself. Now this coating is applied 3 to 5 times. يعني each time we apply it, then we need to dry it, and then apply it again, and then dry it again, apply it again, and then dry it again. This happens 3 to 5 times. Now the solution we apply contains, in addition to sucrose, okay, the syrup that I'm applying, in addition to sucrose, it contains gelatin or a material such acacia or polyvinyl pyrrolidone in order to enhance coating and make the right bonding, okay, because these materials help in bonding the coat with the tablet. Now after applying the coating, okay, we start drying these tablets. When they are partially dry, yani not completely dry, they are still have some moist on them, then we need to sprinkle a dusting powder. Now the dusting powder job here is to help in drying, to help prevent sticking of the tablets together, okay. So these dusting powder that can be a mixture of sugar and starch, and may also contain talc, acacia or chalk اللي هو الكالسيوم carbonate. We sprinkle that on the partially dried tablets, and then we continue drying and while the tablets while the coating pan is rolling, okay, we continue the drying until the tablets are completely dry. Now this process is repeated. How many times? As I said, 3 to 5 times. طيب, at the end, we remove the tablets from the coating pan. We clean the tablets from excess powder. Okay, we clean the coating pan, and then we return the tablet again. But before we do that, we make sure that the thickness of the subcoat is now thick enough. يعني we attain the required thickness of the subcoat. That's why you will see a gauge here. Okay, gauge يعني to measure the thickness, مقياس, to measure the thickness. They put, for example, 10 tablets in order to see the average thickness of the coated tablet and whether we received or we obtained the required thickness. طبعا, one of the problem of sugar coating, as I will tell you later, is that we don't have exactly the same thickness for the tablet, so there might be little variation in thickness, and this is considered as a problem. طيب, after we finish the subcoating, we put the tablets in a clean coating pan, and then we apply from 5 to 10 coating of a thick syrup. And this process is referred to as smoothing and final rounding. Okay? The coating here will be smoother than the subcoat. The subcoat is more rough. And the coating solution is actually a thick syrup, and it can contain additional ingredients like starch and calcium carbonate. And after we apply from 5 to 10 coating, and between each coating and another, we need to do drying, and we may apply a dusting powder to prevent sticking of the tablets together. After that, we do what we call finishing and coloring. Now, coloring can be is optional, of course. If you need to add a coloring agent, then you add it to a thin syrup. Thin syrup indicates that the viscosity is low, okay? Because now you need something smooth. That's why you use thin syrup. معناته the concentration here gets lower. And we may add the appropriate color that we need. طبعا we must do this in a clean pan. This is very important, because now we are doing smoothing. We don't want any powder to be there in the pan or on the tablets. Okay, so we apply several coatings of this, and after that, طبعا between a coat and another, we have to make sure that the tablets are dried and they are not stuck to each other. طبعا the tumbling of tablets and the continuous rotation can help prevent tablets from sticking to each other. طيب, after that, when the tablets are ready, we take the tablets for imprinting. Imprinting means, as I said, we need to provide a code or some sort of identification to the tablets. From 1995, the FDA now requires almost all tablets to bear some kind of identification. That's why sugar-coated tablets will be imprinted طبعا with edible ink, okay, يعني permissible ink, and then after that it will go for polishing. طيب, before I talk about polishing, طبعا as I said, from 1995 all tablets must have some kind of identification. طبعا the reason for that إنه خاصة في USA and also some other countries, the tablets might be supplied without the manufacturer packaging, okay, and the pharmacist might provide it by mistake without proper labeling, and the patient by mistake might throw the package away and use the tablets. And to be able to identify the tablets, you need to have some kind of mark on the tablet. That's why they must have some kind of identification mark. طبعا there are some exemption. Exemption like radiopharmaceutical drug products, like for example when you use drugs in clinical trials, okay, or clinical investigation. Of course, you don't want the patient to know what he's taking. You don't want the investigator to know what he's giving. So there are some exemption that all tablets must be bearing certain identification codes. Okay. طيب, here you will see a machine that takes the tablets. First, it will rectify them. Okay. يعني تصححهم. Okay. Rectify them so that they are horizontal. Okay, because they come randomly positioned زي الكبسولز. Okay, so they get rectified, and here you will have the printing on the tablet, and the tablets come out as printed. The last step is polishing. Now, polishing is done in one of three ways. You can use the same coating pan, okay, but this coating pan will be lined with canvas or cloth, and this cloth is impregnated شو يعني soaked. يعني first you soak the lined cloth, يعني the cloth that is in the coating pan, you soak it first with a wax. This wax can be carnauba wax, اللي هو palm wax also, the same thing, or beeswax. So first you impregnate the cloth بالwax, and this cloth will be lining the coating pan. After that you add the tablets and you start automatically rotating the pan until the required glossiness is attained by the tablets. The other way is to take a piece of wax and put it in the coating pan and then allow the tablets to tumble and rotate until they get the required shininess. The third way, and this is I think more commonly used, اللي هو dissolving the wax in an aqueous solvent and then apply 2 to 3 coats of wax into the tablet to acquire the desired glossiness. Now sometimes they add a small amount of talc during tumbling to contribute to its glossiness. يعني الtalc will also contribute to the glossiness of the tablets. إذا في عندنا 3 ways. 1, cloth lining the pan impregnated with wax. 2, adding a piece of wax. 3, spraying 2 to 3 coats of wax. These are the way to do the polishing. Please note that here we are doing polishing. It's similar to polishing shoes. Okay, so we intentionally doing the polish. That's why sugar-coated tablets are characterized or something distinguishing them. شو هو؟ they have shiny appearance. Okay. Another thing to distinguish sugar-coated tablets, they have rounded edges. بسبب الcoating that we apply and the shape of the tablets we are using, and because of continuous tumbling, there will be they will have rounded edges. Okay, so you can see here the imprinting on the tablets. Now, film coated tablets. Also, as I told you in the beginning, I need you to refer back to the film coated tablets to see what are the advantages and disadvantages of these tablets. For film coated tablets, طبعا first it's less tedious to do the film coating. Just a while ago I described several steps in sugar coating. It's really tedious and it needs the intervention of the operator several times. Number 2, it's time consuming. Number 3, it needs expertise. Number 4, the size may be up to twice the original size and the weight increases, and this can cause بالنسبة للpatient, he will not be easily swallowing these tablets because of their size. And not only that, but as I explained earlier, the tablets might slightly vary in size, okay, because we cannot guarantee that the coats applied to all tablets are exactly equal. So film coating is thinner. Actually, they estimate that the film coating increases the weight by about 3%. يعني from the tablet weight after coating, if you weigh it, then about 3% will be the film coat. طيب if you are doing sugar coating, it will be 50% and maybe even more. So it's a thin skin tight coating. Skin tight here is to tell you that it will actually help in protecting the tablets. Okay, now because it's thin, the film coating is thin, if you have any identifying monograms or scores, if you remember the scores, the grooving, the grooves or the scores in order to help you break the tablets, يعني if you have that and you apply thin coating, still these grooving and crevices, they will be they will be visible and they will be revealed to you after the film coating. But if you apply sugar coating, this will not be possible. You need to do imprinting after you apply the sugar coating. As I told you, film coating can give the tablet durability and it becomes more resistant to destruction if you compare it to sugar coated tablets. Now to do the coating, the film coating, you can do it by non-aqueous or aqueous method. Non-aqueous should be easier because the liquid in which you are dissolving the polymer or you are suspending the polymer, this liquid will be volatile and it can evaporate quickly without really harming the tablet. If you use aqueous, you have the probability of affecting the tablet itself by affecting the ingredients in the tablet. But even though this may be easier, this one is safer and cheaper, اللي هو using aqueous preparation. Not only that, but from environmental point of view, using aqueous vehicles are much preferred than non-aqueous vehicles. That's why in industry they generally favor the use of aqueous solution. طب شو المشكلة? What's the problem? Slow evaporation, okay? And another problem is that it can affect the tablet ingredients. One of the commercial product contains 30% ethyl cellulose as a coating material. It's a colloidal preparation. Ethyl cellulose is not water soluble, so it can actually prevent water from getting into the tablet easily. But there are some other also polymers that we can use that are soluble, such as methyl cellulose, hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose, and others as well. But what is good about this preparation is that it contains 30% of the polymer. The polymer will be responsible for the coating, the main coating material of the film. Now, the good thing about this, as you see, 30% is considered as high concentration. معناته the vehicle is اللي هو water, which is available as 70%, let's say, is considered as between brackets as not very large. Okay, of course it's large, but the concentration of ethyl cellulose is very large in this preparation. This means that you need less time to do the evaporation. The other good thing about this preparation, even though it has high concentration of ethyl cellulose, the viscosity is low. طيب, what is the benefit of having low viscosity of the material you want to spray on the tablet? شو benefits? يعني when I say low viscosity, is there any benefit? Of course, there is a lot of benefit. One, the liquid can get into crevices or into grooves. يعني إذا في for example monogram in the tablet، في هناك marks في التابلت that I've put them, they can get inside and you can إيش you can see these crevices because they don't build a bridge. ما بيسووا bridge. They don't make a bridge and cover the crevices. No, they can go inside. Why they can go inside? Because they have low viscosity. Okay. Also, the evaporation will be faster. You require less evaporation because you are providing large concentration of the polymer. طيب, in addition to the vehicle, which is in this case water, you need to add plasticizer in addition to the polymer. يعني in addition to the polymer, you need to add a plasticizer. Now, plasticizer is very important because it makes the film coating or the coat, it makes it more dense. Also, it makes it impermeable film. يعني the film will be intact, all netted with each other or all together. يعني ما في spaces between them. They do not, like if you want to break them, to break the film, it's elastic, okay, and it's connected with each other. That's why it provides a better mechanical strength to the tablet and the film. Also, another job for the plasticizer is it gives glossiness, يعني لمعان, glossiness to the film coated tablets. As I said, there are other polymers other than ethyl cellulose. You have methyl cellulose, hydroxypropyl cellulose, you have hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose. So these are other polymers that you may use. So what is the constituents or the composition of a film coating solution? Number one is the polymer, or what we call is the film forming polymer. And in our example, we talked about special polymer preparation that is available in the market with a 30% ethyl cellulose, and this is considered very high. Normally, the polymer concentration will be from 7 to 18%. Of course, the more the better, but there will be a problem regarding, as I said, viscosity, okay, viscosity of the preparation, and if the preparation is very viscous, you will have problem with spraying it. You will have other problems with the tablets. Plasticizers, examples of plasticizer that you may use with a concentration up to 2% include glycerine, propylene glycol, polyethylene glycol اللي هو PEG, diethyl phthalate, and dibutyl subacetate. Now, if you need to color your tablets, okay, then you can add coloring agent to the coating film solution. This coloring agent, as we discussed in capsules, include FD&C. FD&C abbreviation for what? For Food, Drug and Cosmetics approved, and Drug and Cosmetic approved lakes. Lakes يعني اللي هي البيجمنتس أو الcolors. And we have other pigments of iron oxide. Iron oxide can come in different colors like brown, black, etc. طيب, in addition to that, of course, the vehicle, usually water, to make the full preparation. These are the ingredients that you may find when في الفيلم coating solutions. طيب, there can be problems, especially when you are using aqueous film coating. يعني the process of coating can result in certain problems. Let's see these problems. What you see here is peeling or flaking. And if we look deeper, you see here the flakes. Okay, these flakes. Sometimes while the tablets stick to each other, and then when they get dry and then you separate them, flakes will appear. This is a problem. Okay, here you see what we call orange peel effect. If you look deep or carefully into these tablets, you will see them like a rough surface. And the reason for this rough surface is when the polymer solution was sprayed, the drops on the tablet should have spread, coalesced together, يعني يندمجوا مع بعض وspread as a film. But they failed to coalesce with each other and spread as a film. And one important reason could be the high viscosity. إذا شفتوا كيف high viscosity is a problem. إذا the high viscosity did not allow the film to distribute evenly on the surface of the tablet. If you look here carefully, you will see pitted surfaces. Pitted يعني منقر. Pitted. This is called picking. And this can also happen when tablets, while they are tumbling, they stick to each other, and when they depart from each other, they pick from each other. Okay, additionally, you will see here different intensity of color. Some places is dark green, some of them are light green, and when you have something like that, this is referred to as mottling. إذن شو mottling? Mottling when you have different shades of color on the tablet. يعني the tablet contains area of dark and light colors. Another problem is what we call bridging. Okay, bridging is when the coating film gets to the monograms or to imposed logo, and instead of getting inside easily and outside to leave the logo clear and sharp, it makes like bridges. So what it's doing is like it's disfiguring, or let's say it's covering the logo rather than getting inside and outside to leave sharp logo. But this is, we call it bridging, okay, because it's not getting inside deeply and then outside. It makes like a bridge. And one reason is also the viscosity. شايفين why viscosity is very important? Okay, what you see here is tablet erosion. Tablet erosion. Because you are using an aqueous solution of the polymer, what you have here is erosion of tablet. يعني the tablet core is getting eroded. يعني getting dissolved. Okay. What you have here, you have also different shades of color, light and dark. What do we call this? Mottling, as we already discussed it before. So let's go back here and discuss the terms because they are important. When you have picking, this means the reason is the tablet sticks together and then part, causing picking. Okay? Peeling لما يكون في هناك fragments flaking from the tablet surface. Orange peel effect اللي هو roughness of the tablet surface due to failure of spray droplet to coalesce. شو uneven distribution of color on the surface of the tablet? We call it mottling. Filling in of the score line or indented logo on the tablet by the film. يعني بصير هناك filling instead of getting inside and then getting outside, okay, of the score. It causes a bridging. Disfiguration of the core tablet when subjected for too long to the coating solution. شو بنحكي لها؟ We call it tablet erosion, because water keeps eroding the tablet and dissolving the tablet. That's why it should not be left for too long while getting coated. Okay, and coating should not take very long. We should not apply very large amount of coating material. Okay, enteric coating. Okay, it's a type of film coating, isn't it? Normally enteric coating is a film coating. It's one type of film coating. It's not all film coatings are enteric coating. No, it's a type of film coating. يعني if we use a polymer that is enteric in nature, يعني enteric, its function is enteric, then we call it enteric coating. طيب, how do we do the enteric coating? In the same way, like film coating, but the polymer that we use is a special polymer. طيب, now number 2. The material that we add for enteric coating are either transit time dependent or pH dependent. يعني we can classify the material that we add for enteric coating لا transit time dependent or pH dependent. شو يعني transit time dependent؟ يعني we apply coating with sufficient thickness so that when all the coating dissolves, the tablet at that time will be in the intestine already. Do you get it? يعني the coating will dissolve even in pH condition of acid, okay, or in the stomach, it will dissolve. But there is sufficient thickness that it will take some time before this coating dissolves. By that time, the tablet will be already in the intestine. You know, you heard about stomach emptying time. Yani for example, when you eat food, how long will it take for the food to get to the intestine? Maybe 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, right? طيب, so we apply enough thickness of a coating until so that when the tablets gets to the intestine, by that time the coating will have dissolved. طيب, example of that اللي هو الشيلاك. الشيلاك اللي بيجي من البق is an example. But most commonly what they use is a polymer that depends on pH factor اللي هي زي cellulose acetate phthalate, polyvinyl acetate phthalate. They depend on pH. At acidic pH يعني 1, 2, 3, 4, they will remain intact on the tablet. But when pH goes 5 or 4.8 and above, then they will dissolve. طبعا some polymer will dissolve at 4.8, some polymer will dissolve at 5.8, and so on, depending on the type of polymer that we use. Now this polymer can be applied to the whole tablet, or it can be applied to the granules or particles of the drug, and then fabricated into tablets, يعني compressed into tablets, or filled in capsules. Okay, if we want to do coating by a special method, then we can use what we call fluid bed or air suspension coating. Okay, you remember the fluidized bed process where the powder gets mixed and then you spray the powder to make granules and then you dry these granules. Now we can use very similar equipment to that in order to coat the tablets or the granules with a film coating, whether this film coating is enteric or non-enteric. Okay, I forgot to tell you about something. You remember when we talked about sugar coating? You remember the process of waterproofing or sealing coat. Now what did we apply? We applied shellac okay, or an enteric polymer, which is the same situation as what we are talking about here. يعني نفس السيتويشن. طيب إذا can we say that sugar coating is enteric coating as well? No, we cannot say that. Why? Because for waterproofing we are applying a very small amount of enteric coating that is not capable of behaving like enteric coated tablets. But remember, if we do apply enough quantity, then the sugar coated will behave like like enteric coated tablets. Remember this. طيب do we normally do that؟ يعني هل احنا for example when we prepare sugar coating, we prepare it because we want to do enteric coating? The answer is no. Normally we do it with film coating because it's easier and faster and it does the job. So why do we go for sugar coating? So normally if I want to do enteric coating, I will go for which type of coating? Film coating or sugar coating? The answer is film coating. طيب, another question. Can I do enteric coating with sugar coating? Yes, I can. Okay? طيب, now in this fluid bed process coating, I want to show you the figure here, which is similar to the fluidized bed granulator. Okay, look at this figure A. In this figure A, you will add the tablets here. The air will come, will fluidize the tablet. While they are getting fluidized, suspended, and at the same time rotated horizontally and vertically, at the same time you have spray from the top. هذا الspray is spray of polymer. Okay? Now, this configuration or this setting can accommodate the largest number of tablets compared to other configuration that you will see, B and C. Okay? It can accommodate 1,500 kilogram of load. Okay? طيب, the other one, you will see that the air comes from the top. Okay, so the tablet goes similar to this one, but additionally the spray of the polymer solution comes from the bottom, and this is what we call bottom spray configuration or Worcester fluidized process. Worcester is the scientist who actually did this. Okay, yani made this setting. The other one is the tangential spray, where the spraying solution comes tangent. We have the tablet rotating in this way. At the same time, you have the spraying tangent to the rotation of the tablet. طيب, see here the tangent spray. This is the bottom spray, and this is the top spray. Okay. طيب, طبعا in the spraying method you have to control several parameters, such as what equipment I want to use and what is the method of spraying. Is the top, tangent, or bottom? What is the distance of the spraying nozzle from the tablets? What is the droplet size that is emitted from the nozzle? What is the spray rate? What is the pressure? What is the volume of the column? How much is the size of the column? The time for drying, etc. We have to control all these parameters to get good spraying. One of the common problem with this method, because it agitates the tablets, it suspends and agitates the tablet. One of the problem, شو هي? إنه the tablets hit each other and they may break. Okay, this is one of the common problem because the method used here is really tough to the tablets to withstand. Okay, the last type of coating is compression coating. For compression coating, I want you to go back لإيش؟ للمالتيبلاي compressed tablet والتايب اللي هو tablet within tablet. في عنا core وفي عنا shell. Now I can do sugar coating بدراي method. كيف؟ by compression. يعني the core tablet will be prepared and then the other materials will surround this tablet, okay, and will be compressed on the tablet. It's completely anhydrous operation. There is no heat involved. There is no water involved. I will show you the video again so that you can remember what I'm talking about. Remember this machine, these are the core tablets here already prepared. Now they will get to a circulating or a rotating plate containing containing cavities. To take each cavity will take one of the core tablets. These core tablets will be located exactly at a center of a die cavity. This die cavity is already partially filled with the coating material or the shell material. Then it will be compressed. بعدين the rest of shell material will be added and will be compressed again and then ejected. This is the video that I have showed you before, and I will show you the video again now. Okay, so what you have seen is a video that I showed you before. We can apply that as sugar coating material. The shell will be like the sugar coating. Of course, I can put a drug in this shell or the outer coating. As I told you, the good thing is anhydrous, so it's good for material that is affected or liable to moisture. The other good thing about this is that the tablets are more uniform in size. If you remember my explanation about sugar-coated tablets, the conventional one, I said that the tablets might have little variation in their sizes because of the coating material not really accurately controlled. But with this method, you can control it better. It's also lighter and smaller and easier to swallow. Yani the coating material in this case can be less than the sugar coating, the conventional sugar coating. But of course it will be much more than the film coating at the same time. Also, it's less expensive to package and ship because it's smaller, and this is the reason for that. Okay, now we will talk about a new thing that is the quality control of tablets. And I want you here to remember what we talked about in capsules, because capsules have similar tests to these tablets. Not exactly the same, but similar. During the process of tableting and after that, you need to test your product, whether while making your product or after you produce your product اللي هو التابلتس. You have in-process control and you have after the production control tests that you have to do. Now, why we are doing the tests? Now we are testing here. Okay, we are not assuring anything, we are testing. We are testing the claimed amount, for example. If we are saying that Panadol tablets contain each 500 milligram, then this should be accurate, right? But this is one thing. So you want to make sure, or you want to test the claimed amount. Another thing, every time you produce your batch, the specification of the batch you produce every time must be the same. مش مرة, for example, Panadol tablets are faster in dissolution, then when I produce another batch it becomes slower in dissolution. No, they should have the same specification in terms of dissolution, in terms of claimed amount, in terms of uniformity of content, etc., etc. That's why we need to do these tests, and the product will remain in quarantine area, يعني محجوز, until the quality control lab gives okay for it to be released to the market. Now, the quality control tests can be classified to 3 types of tests according to the type of test. يعني. It can be chemical tests. Okay, well, this is one. It can be physical tests. It can be microbiological tests. Okay, then how many class of tests do you conduct? I conduct three types of tests: chemical, physical, and microbiological. I will talk about microbiological now because I will just go through it very quickly, and then I will talk in more details about chemical tests and physical tests. For microbiological tests, what you need to do. My question is, are the tablets produced for oral administration? Because normally tablets are for oral administration. Are they sterile? This is my question. Okay. Or they are supposed to be hygienic? Now the answer is no, they are not sterile. They are supposed to be hygienic. Sterile means what? Complete absence of viable microorganism. ما فيش أي microorganism. Do I need to do that? Do I need to produce tablets that are completely absent? في هناك complete absence of viable microorganism? Well, I can do that, but that will cost me a lot of money and for nothing. Because you see, our mouth contains microorganism, our intestine contains microorganism, a lot of our body contains microorganism. But it's important for tablets not to contain pathogenic microorganism. This is one, should be completely absent, yes. But for other microorganisms, there should be a limit. And if there is a limit, we call it hygienic. Okay, when there is no pathogenic bacteria, and I'm limiting the amount of other bacteria that are not harmful, then we call it hygienic. That's why if you go to industry, and you will notice that they are trying to keep everything as clean as possible. Okay, the water is distilled water. they wear special covering on their shoes. They cover their heads. Okay. فإذا that's why they are trying even to control the air by controlling the number of particles that is in the air. Why they are doing all this? Just to make sure that the tablets they produce are hygienic. Okay, so if you take 1 gram from the tablets and you test it for microorganism, طبعا you will learn about how to do that in microbiology. How to take sample from the tablet, how to culture it, how to put it in incubator, and then see whether bacteria grow or not. Anyway, in 1 gram there should not be more than 10 to the power of 3, يعني 1000 bacteria, and not more than 1 to the power of 2, يعني 100 fungi per gram of the preparation. In case the preparation is liquid, then it's per milliliter. For E. coli, which is a pathogenic bacteria, قديش لازم يكون؟ 0. So it's complete absence of E. coli. This is regarding the microbiological tests. Now, for chemical tests, and this is what I will discuss in this part, we have 3 tests that I will talk about. Number 1, chemical content, or also referred to as chemical potency test. طيب, another test which is different, uniformity of chemical content. طبعا uniformity of chemical content test. في big difference between both. Then I have the purity test. Okay, we will talk about these 3 in details, and when we finish them we will talk about the physical tests. طيب, chemical content or chemical potency test according to British Pharmacopoeia. First, I want to tell you the aim or the goal of this test. When the package states, يعني the product package states that, for example, in case of Panadol or in case of amoxicillin, etc., that it contains 500 milligram. فإذا في هناك claim, في هناك statement إنه في هناك 500 milligram. what do? You need to verify that إنه في هناك فعلا 500 milligram. There is really 500. So you take 20 tablets, okay, and then you powder them. Powder them يعني make them into powder by the method of trituration usually. Okay, and you know what is trituration. You take mortar and pestle and you start crushing them and rubbing them until they become powder. Then you take a sample. Okay, let's say this sample equivalent to 1 tablet, for example. Okay, you take a sample and then you analyze it using equipment like spectrophotometer, like fluorometer, like titrimetry, HPLC, etc. Yani using a certain method to analyze how much drug is there. Now, according to statement, اللي هو بيحكي every tablet has 500 milligram, theoretically you know how much is there. Now, practically you need to test that by a certain method. And then calculate what is the percentage of practically what you observed, okay, according to your analysis, and what is being claimed on the package. Yani, for example, let's say on the package it says 500 milligram, but your analysis shows 490 milligram. It means that the percentage from claimed is 490 divided by 500 طبعا multiplied into 100%, okay, and this will be equal to 98%. طيب, for many drugs the range is, يعني the answer here should be 100% plus minus from 5 to 10% depending on the drug. If it is 5%, let's say plus minus 5%, يعني it should be from ايش? From 95% to 105%. But if this is the case and we got 98%, what do you think? Does it pass this test? Yes, it does. طب how do I know this range اللي هو 95 to 105? You need to refer to the pharmacopoeia, and I am urging all of you, it's like an assignment, okay, that you go to the library and get the British Pharmacopoeia or the United States Pharmacopoeia. We have one of latest editions. We have 2018 edition of the British Pharmacopoeia and United States Pharmacopoeia. And just browse it, okay? Open it, see what is inside. Because the Pharmacopoeia is a very important reference book, okay? The Pharmacopoeia يعني دستور الأدوية. You are a pharmacist. If you graduate and you haven't really looked into the pharmacopoeia, you are not really a pharmacist. You need to look at the pharmacopoeia. Now all industries must have pharmacopoeia. يعني Gilfar, they have the British Pharmacopoeia and United States Pharmacopoeia and other pharmacopoeia as well. Neo Pharma also the same case. All companies must have such pharmacopoeia. Now I will show you the pharmacopoeia that I have, which is 2013. It contains different volumes. If I go to volume 1 and then I go to monographs, because the monographs tells you about the drugs and the standards that you need to test for. If I go for, now pick one, you want amoxicillin or paracetamol. I will go for paracetamol, for example. This is paracetamol. Okay, what you see here is regarding the raw material. This is all raw material. Okay, raw material and not the tablet. But here it tells you the pharmacopoeial preparations. في عنا cocodamol tablets وفي عنا capsules. No, we want paracetamol tablets. So where is paracetamol tablets? Can you help me find it? Paracetamol. It's here. Can you see it? Okay. Paracetamol tablets. طيب see, طبعا here it says it's analgesic antipyretic يعني مسكن ومضاد حرارة. It says paracetamol tablets containing paracetamol. The tablets comply with the requirements under tablets. Here, see this one. This is very important. Content of paracetamol. It should be from 95 to 105% of stated amount. يعني إذا كان 500 milligram, it should be between قديش 500 milligram. شو ال 95% من ال هاي? What is the answer? It should be قديش 47 and half. 475 milligram. This is المينيمم. والماكسيمم بده يكون 525. Okay, in order to be between 95% to 105%. طب how do I do this test? How do I do this test to analyze the drug? If you go to assay, هيشوفوا الassay. weigh and powder 20 tablets. بعدين بحكي لكم, it tells you about how to do the analysis and do the calculation. Okay? For now you know this, I'm sure. طيب. The other test اللي هو uniformity of content test of chemical content here. We are talking about chemical content. طب شو الفرق؟ Well, in the previous test we took 20 tablets, we crushed them and we mixed them together. What I have the average of the 20. But uniformity of content test is talking about individual tablets. Are they uniform في content? يعني maybe one tablet has, let's say, 900 milligram. Okay? It's supposed to have 500, but it's having 900. The other tablet is having 100 milligram. It's supposed to be a dish 500. This is more, this is less. Both are not acceptable, صح? Because the labeled amount says a dish 500. But if you look at the average is 500 exactly, which is excellent. So this is talking about the average. Now we want to talk about the individual tablet. We need to know whether they are uniform or not uniform. Before I talk about this, you need to know that this test is applied to tablets having very small quantity of the drug. يعني in some pharmacopoeia they say the drug content should be 25 milligram or less, or 25% of the total weight or less. Some other pharmacopoeia they say 2% or less, or 2 milligram or less. Okay, فإذا في variability, but in all of them they are saying that when there is very small quantity of the drug in the tablet, then you need to do this test. Otherwise, you don't need to do this test. Instead, you can do another test. Okay? اللي هو we'll talk about it later. اللي هو الweight, احفظوها. الweight variation test. If you do uniformity of content test, you don't need to do weight variation test. If you do weight variation test, you don't need to do uniformity of content test. Is that clear? طيب, when do we do this test? When the drug quantity is very small. It's different from pharmacopoeia to another. Some say 2 milligram or less, or 2% or less. Some say 25 milligram or less, or 25% or less. Okay, so it depends on the pharmacopoeia that we follow. طيب, how you do this test? First, randomly you take, خليني اكتب لكم اياه because let me write it for you because it's little complicated. First, take 30 tablets randomly. يعني من الباتش you produce, take 30 tablets. Then from the 30 tablets take 10. يعني ضل قديش هون؟ هاي minus 10, you have 20 tablets remaining. Then take each one, okay, each one. So you have how many of them? 10. Okay, take each tablet and analyze it. Do analysis. And in this analysis, your aim is to find how much drug is there. Let's say here we have 10 milligram. Let's say here we have 11. Let's say here we have 9. Let's here we have 8, 7, 11, 10, and so on. So what are these numbers? These numbers are obtained by analyzing each individual tablet and looking at how much drug is in this tablet. واضح؟ So you have these numbers. طيب, after that find the average. Find the average. How do you find the average? Add this one and this one and this one and this one. Add the 10 readings and divide them by 10. Okay? Suppose, let me just say this. Okay? Suppose the average is 9 milligram. طيب, هذا الافريج. طيب, الفاريابيليتي, some of them are less than 9, some of them are more than 9, يعني some of them are less, هي 7, some of them are more. But let's look at the results. Now the lowest one here is 7, right? طيب, if I open the calculator and divide 7 by 9, which is the average, يعني I divided 7 اللي هو one of the tablets 7 by the average of the 10. Okay, multiply it into 100, you get ايش 77.7, let's say 0.8%. طبعا you need to do this for each one to find out the percentage from the average. The percentage from the average. Okay? طيب, the highest one is 11. So 11 by 9 multiply into 100, you have 122.2. 122.2%. طيب, you need to do the same for each one, for the 10, for the 11, for the 9. طبعا ال 900% يعتبر لأنه 9 على 9 multiplied 9. طيب, what is the criteria? It says if all the percentages that you calculate are between 85% to 115%, if all of them are like that, then ايش it pass the test. خلاص انتهى. طب شو تسوي بال20 تابلت؟ خلاص, you don't need to do anything. طيب, if it says if 2 tablets are not in this range, okay, اللي هو 85 to 115, and I already بدون ما احسب البقية, without calculating the rest, I already have 2, صح؟ إذن it fails the test. متى؟ So when does it fail the test? 1, if more than 1 tablet is not in the range. شو range? 85 to 115%. More than 1. أكثر من واحد, مش واحد. More than 1. طيب. Let's say, just for the sake of argument, this 7 is not there, and this 11 is not there. Okay. So I have, let's say 9, looks good, 9, let's say here 12, 9. So let's assume that everything looks okay, but this one is little large. Let's say all these are in this range, 85 to 115, except this one. So this one is 12 divided by 9 multiplied into 100. It's قديش طلع الجواب؟ 133.33.3%. صح؟ It's only one. This is only one, which is not in this range. طيب, check, is this one in the range, the second range? Now I will write for you إيش a second range. This second range is the following: 75% to 125%. Then how many is not in the first range? Let's say it's only one. طيب, is it in the second range 75 to 125? The answer no, it's above. شوفوا أعلى من it's above 125. إذن it's not even the second range. إذن fail. طيب, let's assume the following. Now this is not 12 but 11. If you divide 11 by 9 and multiply by 100%, you get إيش? You get 122.2, right? So imagine now the second scenario. In all the tablets are in the first range and only one not in the first range. It is in the second range. It is here. It's in this one. طيب, what do you do? Do you say pass? No, you don't say pass. In this case, you take the other 20 tablets and then you analyze each one individually. Okay? يعني بتاخدوا every tablet, you crush it, you put it in a liquid, you dissolve it, and then you analyze it to calculate how much drug is there. Now, after you do that, now forget about everything here. Okay, I will remove everything. Now you start all over again. How many tablets did you analyze? Not 20, you already analyzed 30. First 10 and then 20. So how many did you analyze? 30. So how many readings you have? You have 30. So now you will calculate the average of 30, which may be different from the previous average. Let's say now it's 10 milligram. Okay? طيب, what do you need to do after that? Calculate the percentage of each one of the 30 from the average. يعني for example 9 على 10, 9 divided by 10 multiplied by 100%. قديش بطلع؟ 90%. طيب, the other one 11 divided by 10 into 100 بصير 110%. بعدين 9 again 90%. بعدين after that you have 100%, and so on. Okay, so you do all these testing. طيب, suppose one of the readings here is 12. So if you calculate the percentage of this one, you will have 120. صح? 12 divided by 10 multiplied into 100, you have 120. طيب. So in the end, how many readings do you have? You have a percentage, you have 30 readings. Now check them all. Are they within 85%, 215%? If they are all in this range, شو بتحكوا؟ خلاص pass the test. طيب. If all in this range except one, اللي هو هذا, this one, it's 120%. Check if it is in the second range اللي حكينا عليه اللي هو ايش؟ What is the second range? It's 75 to 125. طيب, check this one. Is it in the second range? Yes, it is. خلاص. The tablets will pass the test. Okay? Did you get it? طيب, شوفوا التلخيص. See what is the summary of all what I talked about. The preparation complies with the test. يعني it will pass the test if each individual content is between 85% to 115% of the average. يعني إذا كلهم خلاص the first 10 هي 10. Okay? If each one of these 10s are between 85 to 115% of the average, خلاص تمام. The preparation fails to comply with the test if more than one individual content is outside these limits. يعني إذا طلع أكثر من واحد, more than one, برا outside 85 to 115, it's fail خلاص. Or if one individual content is outside, حتى لو كان واحد بس outside this one, only one outside, but this one is also outside this one, it fails. طيب, in case هلا شوفوا المحاولة الثانية. In case you have only one outside 85 to 115, but it is within 75 to 125, in this case you need to take the other 20 and analyze them again and look at each unit of the 30. These units should be all within 85 to 115, and no more than one can be outside from the 30 units. No more than one can be between 85 less than 85 and more than 100. Only one unit can be outside this range. One unit can be outside this range. But this unit has to be between 75% to 125% of the average in order to pass the test. If it is not, it fails the test. Is it clear? But it's a little complicated. Again, this test is only applied when the amount of drug is small. See, in some cases, some pharmacopoeia say it has to be less than 25 milligram or way less than 25% of the tablet average. Here I checked the pharmacopoeia for, شوفوا هنا ما في, it doesn't tell you about uniformity of content. It doesn't say anything because you don't need to do it for paracetamol tablets. Why? Because paracetamol tablets contain 500 milligram, which is much above these 25 or 2 milligram as in some cases. I will take you to digoxin. Digoxin is a drug that is given in very small quantity to patients. Where is digoxin? Digoxin. Okay, this is digoxin. These are the preparation. We'll go to digoxin tablets. Here, see, it's required because It says tablets containing less than 2 milligram or less than 2% of discotein must comply with the uniformity of content test. Okay? فإذا this is applied only for tablets containing small quantity of drug. And if you use this test, then you do not need to perform another test which is referred to as weight variation test. Okay? And if you are not required to do this test, uniformity of content test, then you have to do weight variation test. طيب, what could be the reasons for variation? Let's say it failed the test. What could be the reason? One of the reason is inefficient or improper mixing of ingredients. We did not do a good mixing. بطل uniform. The mixture is not uniform. So in some tablets I will have more drug. In some tablets I have less drug. طبعا segregation can be a reason. I did mixing of the drug and excipients. بعدين after that I had segregation. So when I done tableting, some tablets contained very high drug and some others contains very little drug. طيب, poor flow to the dye cavity. طبعا this means that some tablets will have less formulation. Okay, and some tablets will have more of the formulation. Okay, because of poor flow. Poor flow is characterized by inconsistent flow to the dye cavity. Sometimes you get more, sometimes you get less. Okay, getting to the dye cavity. But of course this will affect also the weight of the drug. It will affect the weight of the drug. Come on. It also will affect the strength, mechanical strength of the drug. Okay? طيب, another reason can be improper analysis. Your analysis method is not validated or you are not doing it correctly. You are getting inconsistent results. في هناك other reasons, maybe I did not talk about them, such as when you are having granules of different size. These granules will segregate from each other, and the small granules will go to the dye cavity first, and they will make some tablets, and then the large granules will come and make some tablets. So they will have different weights, and this may affect also how much drug is in each tablet. But the last chemical test I will talk about today is purity test. Purity test. Now I want you to be very careful here. Why? Because purity test is done on raw materials. It's not done on tablets. You know that the tablets contain what? It contains drug and excipients. So you do not do purity test on tablets because they already have different materials. This is not purity test. But what you do, or to what you do purity test, is for raw materials. For example, let's say you want to prepare Panadol tablets. So in order to do that, you need to order Panadol, you need to order paracetamol or acetaminophen powder from another company. So when this company brings you the powder, before you use the powder, you should check it. Even though when you purchase the powder that it is in accordance to a certain standards. For example, to United States Pharmacopoeia standards, or to the British standards, Indian Pharmacopoeia, etc., etc. So you are buying it according to Pharmacopoeia standard. Can you use it directly? No, you cannot. You need to check it again, because during transportation something can happen. Maybe the original company did not do the test correctly, etc., etc. So you want to see this raw material of, let's say, paracetamol or even other excipients. You want to see that they are pure enough, they are according to Pharmacopoeia standard. So you take the raw material and you start testing this pure raw material to see whether there is a significant amount of impurities or not. Normally, when you purchase the material, they will tell you that it's, for example, at least 99% pure. Okay? You want to check the impurities. معناته there is some impurities that may be associated with the raw material. You know that when you prepare any drug, the chemicals that are with the drug can contribute to a very small quantity of impurities, like the solvent, the other chemicals that have been used to produce the drug, etc. There can be in very small or trace amounts. Now you need to make that they are within the limits of the pharmacopoeia. Okay? You go and you analyze according to the requirement of pharmacopoeia. I will show you, for example, let's go back to digoxin, or let's go back to digoxin. This is digoxin, okay? See here, content. Now I'm talking here not about digoxin product, I'm talking about raw material. These are the products, I'm not talking about them. Here it says that digoxin must be 96% to 102%. معناته it means that there is a chance for impurities. طبعا how do you check that? طبعا here you will see identification tests. These will tell you about related substances. They will tell you about the presence of impurities and the identification of the drug. You need to do them. Okay? So if your raw material complies with the British Pharmacopoeia, this is the British Pharmacopoeia, then when you produce the tablets and then you package them, and in the package you write, for example, paracetamol 500 milligram, you should write paracetamol and then BP. It means that your raw material complies with the British Pharmacopoeia. Okay? Or for example, paracetamol USP. معناته your raw material have been tested and it complies with the United States Pharmacopoeia standard. Okay? Let's go see paracetamol اللي هو الاسيتوامينوفين in USA. Okay, now is this the raw material or the product? No, this is the raw material. The products are here. I can click on them if I like. طيب شوفوا, look at the content. See the content? It has to be from 99 to 101% based on dried material. Okay, they will tell me the purity of, how much should be the purity of my raw material. And here how to identify the drug, and then how to test the impurities and how much these impurities can be in the raw material. It tells you, for example, there should not be more than 0.1% of this material in the raw material. Okay. طيب طبعا if there is a material, طبعا the pharmacopoeia will not test all impurities to tell you, okay, there is this impurity and there is this impurity and there is, it will test certain impurities that are expected to be associated with the raw material. So if there is something else that cannot be detected by the pharmacopoeia, then we consider the material to be not to be of pharmacopoeial quality and cannot be used in pharmaceutical companies. Okay? طيب, for example, if we take aspirin, we expect that salicylic acid, this is according to method of synthesis, we expect that salicylic acid would be present with aspirin raw material. That's why if we go and check aspirin, there will be a test to check salicylic acid. Now this salicylic acid should not be present by more than 0.15%. Now why there should be a limit for impurities? Because it can be toxic, it can affect the stability of the drug, safety and efficacy of the drug. Okay, this is the reason. And the purity test is different from the other previously mentioned two tests because it's done on raw material. But uniformity of content test or chemical content test, they are done on tablets. The purity test is done on raw material. It's done. طب which raw material? Is it only the drug اللي هو active pharmaceutical ingredient? Only on that? No, it's done حتى في excipients. It's done in all materials. When they reach the company, they should not be used until they get the green light to be used. When do they get the green light to be used? Only when they are tested for impurity and for potency. Okay? We'll stop here. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Of course, if you have any question, you can always come to me. We have the WhatsApp group, you have my email, there is my office, and I will always be available to help you. Have a nice day and good night.